All right. We're back again. Been a little while. Let's see here. So, welcome everybody to the stream. And I figured what better way to kind of get back into the groove of things with just working on a little bit of painting. I've started this one a little bit ago, and so I want to see if I can make a bit more progress on it. So today, I'm going to see if I can finish up this floor here, and then we're probably going to go on to kind of some of the objects up here. So let's go ahead. We got to find where the floor is. I believe it's counter. Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead and head down to counter paint, and we're going to need to kind of push this to be a bit more darker, actually. Oops, I better select it properly. There we go. Revision. Thank you, Rev. I really do appreciate it. Truth be told, at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is I'm terrible with my upload schedule. All of my stuff is years old at this point, so I got to get better about that. I have some smaller term projects in mind. I just need to really, focus down on them. It's really hard because right now I'm focusing on a comic, actually, which the link should be down in the description if you want to check it out. But that takes a lot of my effort, and it's kind of hard to make videos when all of my effort's going towards a comic. So that's kind of where the streams come into play, though. So I'm glad I'm able to do something in that time, and I'm glad that people appreciate it. It's been really encouraging seeing all the people come in and appreciate it. So, oh boy. Oops, that's the wrong one. Come on. Boy, my browser's really struggling. There we go. All right. That actually does remind me, though, I've been sitting on a project for way too long. I kind of got cold feet when I started working on it, where I want to break down one of the last videos that I made. the what's it called? The microfilm, the Otherworld microfilm, and just kind of go over some of my process. There we go. That's a little bit better. We just really want to make sure that it gets nice and dark over here, because it's getting so much further away from the light source. This out. We really want to make this nice and dark, because that's all the way back behind. There we go. So like no light's getting back there. Okay. There we go. Something like that. Now, I do want to kind of work on this side a bit as well. I want to see if I can kind of darken. Oops, that's totally black. Darken this up as well, because that's also away from the light source. I've been drawing for, goodness, I thought about this the other day. It's been a little over 10 years now since I really started getting into drawing. I got into it when I was in high school, which is actually a little bit late for, you know, some people. Some people have been drawing a lot longer, even seriously. But I got into it when I was in high school, and I got into it for the specific reason of doing animation, actually. Which is what I really love to do. In fact, I'm really hoping to get to animate this little guy a little bit more in the future. That's kind of the next few projects I have in mind, animation wise at least. Go ahead and start cleaning this up. Truth be told, I still feel like my work is a little like there's bits that I wish I was a little bit stronger at with some of my work. I need to hit the books again and kind of do some studies, do some proper studies. Been a little while, and I think that would do me some good. Goodness, I'm still getting over coughing, or rather being sick. I was actually down and out pretty bad a couple weeks back in December. So that's why actually I haven't been streaming lately. I was hoping to do a bit, but I've been just kind of caught up in some kind of sickness that's going around. Let's go a little lighter. There we go. grab the darker color again. We're gonna go through and we're gonna reinforce these. We really want to have that nice ambient. There we go. Yeah, there we go. That looks nice. All right. Part of me wants to darken this as well. Let's go with that. So it is quite a ways away from. Okay. Let's go ahead. Maybe bring in a little bit of that darker color over here. So that's the thing about corners, is corners tend to kind of make it difficult for light to really hit around, so they tend to be darker. Even when they're open like that, that's still kind of is a place where light struggles to get in. Always darken your corners. Kind of helps sell the effect. There we go. And I'll add a kind of a glow to his eyes eventually. Oh, I did do the milk. Okay. Yeah, it's very subtle, but I have actually painted the... Or not milk, but like the orange juice. Okay. So now we are still on the counter, but we're actually going to do the pot up here. So let's grab our base color here, and let's kind of work. Yeah, let's go ahead, the typical kind of purple side, and we're gonna want to do kind of a, we don't want it to be like banded. We want it to be kind of like it's almost hammer worked a little bit, because that looks nice. Alright, so let's grab you again, pull you into kind of a nice green. And we're actually going to go even brighter here. Really kind of push this sort of highlighted area. Actually, I might... Hold on. Because that's right now, that's under the darks. So we're not going to be able to get super bright. So we may need to add a little bit of a highlight on a different layer. That's okay. We'll hold off on that for now. But we'll come back to it. So now we're kind of blending the two sides together. Been a while, indeed it has there, Shaker. Good to see you here, though. Like I was saying earlier, I was a little bit sick over the end of December, so unfortunately that's kind of why I went radio silent. Hope you've been well. Hope the new year's been treating you well so far. You had a good holiday. A little bit brighter. There we go. All right, it's coming on. I want to think about how I want to handle the handle. Go ahead and start by kind of brightening it up a bit. And bring that back around. Even brighter. Let me try turning off the darks real quick. And the lights, for that matter. Need something a bit more in between here. Do pure color picker. There we go. There we go. Let's try adding a little bit of this there and a bit of dark. There we go. Okay, let's turn the lights and the darks back on and see how that looks. That looks all right. A little darker there. Yeah, we'll go with that. Okay. Go ahead and give ourselves... In this one, we're going to do a bit more banding. Also going to kind of lighten it up. Well, you know what? We aren't going to lighten it up because it is meant to be quite far on the back. So we're actually going to go darker on this side. And create a nice kind of pattern. That texture is actually really handy because it gives it that kind of paper towel look as well. So that's the nice thing about texture, and why you don't want to over render things is, you know, real life things have texture. Things aren't just perfectly smooth, right? It's something that I see a lot of artists kind of start with. How they start. They always want to make everything perfectly smooth. And it's like, no, don't do that. Let the texture do the work as well. Embrace the lack of rendering. Have fun with it. I also realize I need to do the upper board as well. Yeah, this reminds me, I really ought to give Shovel Knight a proper playthrough. Just a little darker. Something like that. The nice thing about these kind of back objects is you don't have to worry too much about being real specific with the shadows and all that, because they're meant to go into the background. Yo, what's up, Dice Bag? Good to see you here, man. Hope you're doing well. I saw a painting you did in your server, the kind of with the floating islands and all that. It looked really cool. Made me want to do something with clouds. Clouds are a lot of fun to paint. Let's not go that dark. Still want some color in there. There we go. Let's see here. Not much. Excuse me. Other than just getting over being sick. But I'm glad to be streaming again, that's for sure. I need to do that little strip of wood as well. Decided to do something a little bit chill today. It was a bit of a tiring day. Not too bad of a day. But still, didn't quite feel like tackling another page of the comic, so we'll probably get to that this Thursday. I do look forward to getting back to that, honestly, because it's been a long time since I've worked on the comic, and we have an awful lot to work on. So. I remember the friend of mine kind of described an interesting sort of thing that happens when you're an artist, where you can kind of lose your momentum when you're like really in a project and you're working on it every day, and you're working on a kind of a specific set of skills. It can really help your sense of your own art. And so when you kind of fall off, like you get sick or just stop working on it for one reason or another, sometimes it can be really hard to get back to that level. Can kind of be intimidating. Whoops, that was the wrong player. Okay. All right, that's better. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now, is building up that momentum again. Now the question is, do I want to darken his shadows? I kind of don't, actually. Gotta get your mojo back? Yeah, for sure. I just realized that part of his ear isn't covered. Oops, so we want to go up here. We want... Let's grab the color. Let's grab it there. I'm actually going to go dark. There we go. That's a bit better. Also just realized I think those are done. Yeah. I think they're done. They look alright with me. Okay, so I'm gonna say that the counter, oh, except for this is done. We need to let's push that out. Well, the way the light's going, actually, this would be a bit bright. Yeah, something like that. What's up, Julie? Good to see you here. That being said, so the light is coming out at that angle based on this. So this actually, I think, would be a little bit brighter, actually. So that's... Alright. Helping it out. I'll let you go to bed early so you're here. No, don't worry. I'll be sure to put you to sleep. I think I legitimately have before. I think people have come in here and straight up fallen asleep. It's all part of my devious plan. Because as they sleep, their view still counts on my stream. Is this a character from your comic? No. This is a separate little project that I'm working on. I do want to do like little comics with them, probably. More so for the sake of efficiency. I mostly want to do little animations with them. The comic is a very different style. It's I guess a more serious kind of style, less cartoony. Although it's still very, very surreal, very stylized for sure. That's better. I like that better. There we go. And we're actually gonna, yeah, let's do that down here. But the way I'm gonna do it actually is I'm gonna color that in, and then I'm gonna darken it over here. There we go. Because we still want this darker than this side. because it's still not catching as much light. There we go. You made an animation today. That's awesome. I wish I made an animation today. What kind of animation was it? Actually, we're gonna switch back to pick color from Epic the Musical. I'm afraid I haven't heard of that. Hold on. Oops, I've kind of messed that up a bit. All right, there we go. Okay, well, we can render that forever if we wanted to. Get it to a good spot. It's a musical adaptation of the Odyssey. Oh, I see. You know, one of these days I really should sit down and read the Odyssey. And the Iliad, for that matter. Read it in class when I was in high school, but I've never actually sat down and read it proper. I also need to finish Gilgamesh as well. I have a copy of that. Very interesting. Very cool. We actually, you know, I'm gonna try something. We're gonna grab you and bring you here. So this colorful shadow. We're gonna. A little bit of a shadow. I kind of like that. Let's try whatever here. Whoops. I don't want to do that. Oops, that's the wrong color. Come on. Here. So there, her voice is incredible. Hermes is the best character. He only has 2 songs, doesn't he, I'm guessing? Ah, Hermes. Oh, he's getting thrown out by his dad by his ankle. At least I think that happens at some point. Wouldn't put it past him. Excuse me. Goodness. That sounds like fun, honestly. Doing animation and music is really good practice. Oh, I gotta clean that up. Hold on. Oops. There we go. There we go. Now we have a little bit more depth to our shelves. Little wolf. So I take it that you like mostly animating to music, then. Excuse me. Goodness. Hopefully that it... Let me know if that's coming in a little loud. I can try to kind of mute it when I can. It's a little hard, though, unfortunately, because my mute button's all the way over here. Wish my board was slightly closer, but it is what it is. There's no real way to bring it closer. Funny enough, actually, speaking of music and timing in relation to animation, I've actually found that having a good understanding of musical timing, as in, you know, being able to play an instrument in time and such, or having that understanding of timing really helps with someone's understanding the animation timing. There does seem to be a little bit of a crossover in terms of those skill sets, which makes sense because when you think of timing in animation, you're dealing with a consistent tempo, if you will, in the form of 24 frames per second. And it's how you interact within that tempo that creates the rhythm of the movement. And so it's actually a really good way to kind of look at animation, I find. Okay. All right. We'll go with that for now for the counter and such. It's pretty good. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a fun little kind of side project thing. And kind of a fun idea I want to play with. So, kind of one thing with this character is he can see in the dark, typically. But in this instance, all he sees are the two eyes floating there. He actually can't see past them, which is a little bit intimidating. It's like a high school A and B creator backs up your observation. That's funny. Appreciate that, Julie. Okay, so long. I just realized. Oh, that's funny. I did that as a flat. That's all right. Okay, that. And now, let's go ahead and. Okay, so we're gonna go much darker here. We're gonna start in the corner and we're gonna kind of work our way out. Actually, we're gonna go even darker than that. We're gonna go very dark here. Just like no lights getting out that way. No lights reaching up there. I want these to be very, very dark walls. Well, maybe that is a little too dark. Yeah, we'll chase it and see how it goes. We can always erase it. That's the nice thing about doing it on the layers this way. What's up, Storytime? Hope you're doing well. Let me see what I can do here. We're getting some interesting kind of like greens out of this, which I actually kind of like. It's a little strong right now, but once I kind of go in and start rendering, hoping doing fine. That's good to hear. Leave on, yeah. I appreciate it. Oops. Let's actually, hold on, let's try luminosity. Yeah, let's try that. Let's grab the new one. Oh, it's just a little bit lighter. Oh, subscribe. Thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Honestly, that reminds me. I need to get a little, my little icons going. I have a little animation that I want to pop up whenever someone subscribes. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna be doing that. Either, I need to create little widgets for it. I think there might be a way through, I use something called caffeinated, which really helps. Now, I'm really curious how this is looking. Oh, this is... Oh, that's interesting. Well, we'll introduce some other coloring. You know, let's try something here. I'm gonna switch over to color picker, and we're actually gonna grab this lighter tone. We're gonna kind of move back in and give ourselves some mid-tones. There we go. Work with it. Just created your channel? Nice. You know, actually, I just thought here shouldn't be where that's happening. Over here actually should be where a little bit of a lighter tone. Let's actually push this into the dark a little bit more. We'll keep it a little bit lighter here, just so that there's some kind of transition. Let's see here. Actually, I am getting close to 200 subscribers, so if anybody wants to help push me over that line, I'd be really grateful. Honestly, I'm amazed that I've gotten that far mostly streaming. That's been really, really encouraging. Let's see what it looks like with dark. Actually, I do quite like that, actually. Let's go and keep going with dark off. I'm gonna do this a little bit brighter. Down. Still darkened. So we're gonna have this darker back here because we're now getting the shadow of the plates kind of doing their thing. How's Christmas? Excuse me. There we go, that's better. Christmas was good. Christmas was a lot of fun, other than being sick, unfortunately. But by the time Christmas rolls around, I was on the recovery, so spent time with family. Hope everyone else had a good Christmas. Been sick since 2014. Oof. Hopefully nothing too serious. Let's grab that. Let's push that out. Okay, let's see. So this is at 100%. Yeah, we do want that to be quite strong. We're mostly dealing with values, actually, which is interesting. We're also going to need... Well... light... Well, again, shadows form in corners, because there... Places where it's hard... Okay, we're that dark. Maybe, yeah, maybe something like this. We'll soften it here as well. Enough to give us. There we go. Got an art desk for Christmas. Nice. That's awesome. That sounds like quite the gift. I just got myself a regular desk here. Then again, I don't do anything traditional, so... I gotta get going. All right, catch you later. Thanks for stopping by. All right, let's see here. So it's kind of interesting. So because it's a little hard to see on the mobile side, I know, unfortunately, the vertical side. But because of this layer being at 100%, we're actually mostly just kind of fooling around with values and such. And actually, I kind of like the sort of dreamlike sort of sense that we're getting here. That's really fun. So I'm actually going to keep kind of pushing that. It makes the walls look kind of unreal. It's kind of what I want. I want it to feel to kind of feel like a dream a little bit. That's what this whole project is supposed to feel like. It's supposed to feel kind of like a dream. Truth be told, that's a big motivation for a lot of my work. Is I want it to have this sense of otherness to it that feels like that. Feels very dreamlike. Do I want you like that? I'm not really. We don't want you to be too dark either. There we go. Push the corner even darker. Oh, whoops. I need to be careful here because I'm not in the right mode. So, truth be told, though, actually, we do want this to be that. So, that. And have it fade out quickly, though. All right. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, we're not perfect yet. Let's go ahead and get some more rendering here. Let's try something else here. Definitely not that. I don't think that that's the right tone we kind of want to go for. I guess we can improve that as well. Yeah. All right. Okay, pretty happy with that. Let's go ahead and do the, oh wait, hold on. We got this up here as well. Who is this? Francisco Cerda, Protocorgi, level 1. Kind of a more upbeat Fear of Dark kind of vibe. Cool sounding song. Okay, let's go ahead now. Let's see what's focus on there. Ah, welcome back. Want a more even transition. To kind of push this as well here. So good for animation. I know a lot of people who do a lot of really cool stuff in it. That being said, I know it's also quite limited from what I've heard. I've never used it myself personally. But I remember someone talking about good alternatives, and one is something called Rough Animator. So it might be worth looking into. Personally, I mostly just use Procreate, Clip Studio Paint, and Toon Boom for my animation. But I know that kind of stuff can take a lot of resources. Definitely not the most accessible. Although, if you have a decent machine, Blender is a fantastic program to get into. You can do some awesome stuff in it. I have some ideas and plans for doing some fun stuff in Blender with 2D animation, actually. There's actually really good 2D animation tools built directly into Blender now, which is really cool. Good for storyboarding more complicated scenes as well, able to use the 3D aspect to your advantage. This needs to be dark. In fact, we should apply a bit of darkness around it as well. Because again, those corners make it so that light has a hard time getting in there. For this this little guy, this guy's name is Grem, Grem. go ahead and do the board now. And we're just gonna straight to And I'm not too worried about things kind of blending together. So this is kind of something that's interesting. Is obviously this is the background, right? So that actually means the more that it blends together as far as like values go, or how light or how dark something is, that's actually a good thing because it means it pushes it into the background. It means that someone high contrast like Grem here is much more in the spotlight. We actually, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and go. Yeah, with that. Well, okay, hold on. Do I want to kind of like the sort of texture going on here? I'll go ahead and leave that for now. Gonna finish your animation? Nice. I'm gonna leave the texture here for now. Just kind of like what's going on there. It gives it kind of this incorporeal kind of feel. No, that's a little... Let me double check that actually. Yeah, that's not necessary. In fact, that's actually... What is that? Yeah, okay, so let's go to the flat. And let's... Oh yeah, we don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. That, okay. There we go, okay. All right. Now... paint. Okay. I need to figure out how I'm gonna do the window. have to figure that out. But for now, let's go ahead and do our thing here. We're actually going to do something here where I'm going to this really dark. Did I? No. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Make it look like it has some kind of structure to it. We'll go with that. Yes. Just gonna kind of darken the windows, I guess. Nice texture. Then we're actually gonna bit of lightning. Let's go even darker. Some of this. Realize that. I guess that's the wall. Okay. Easy. Not crazy about the green windowsills. Works. Just barely. Might need to kind of clean up that edge. Also might just work. Well, actually, you know what? We're gonna not make the contrast so high. Again, it's a background element. It's not catching a whole lot of light. How long were you gone for? I'm not sure. Good number of minutes. Something like that. Let's push the darks up a bit. There we go. There we go. That really blends that in, but that's okay. Oops, that's the wrong one. Hold on, I need to check something. No, we don't want area scaling. Dang it. That's not great. That's why we were winding up with some of that overlap. But that's okay. I might clean that up later. There we go. Let's go ahead and do the handle now. Nice thing about these objects that are really in shadows is I just really need to just do a dark pass over them. I don't really need to worry too much about how it looks, specifically in its rendering. Especially these really small objects. Maybe not that. Something like that. That's your music for your animation? Cool. Another person animating the music. Let's go ahead and fix that. All right, so the wall is like 90% done. We just need to do the plates now. Well, that really depends on the kind of style that you're going for and a myriad of other things. If you're doing just kind of rough, fun stuff, you can, you know, do stuff pretty fast. But if you're doing really detailed, a lot of really complicated motion, it can take months. The last really like animated film, I would say, that I worked on, about a month and a half to do about 4.5 minutes of animation. And that was just the rough. That was just the rough animation. It took me 2 months to then clean it up and about 3 days to color it. That being said, the coloring, the program I was using was Toon Boom to color it. Oh, we also need to do this. Let's go and do that. Oh, shoot. There we go. Well, just remember, whatever you decide to go with as far as your style, that's gonna dictate a lot, right? So it's good to learn how to design characters around being efficient and such. I just realized that. That's something that's always kind of in the back of my mind when I'm drawing or designing a character is, if I have to draw this character, you know, 100 times, am I gonna hate myself for the way that I drew them? The answer is yes. I usually go back to the drawing board and I kind of maybe rework them a bit. There have been instances though where I have gone with a character design that was a bit complicated. Overly complicated character design is the worst ones you commit to. Oh, absolutely. I remember there was a character I designed. Actually, I'll bring it up. This will be kind of fun. Same, yeah. You have a lot of characters you work with, I know. Let me bring up a turnaround I did for the film, and not mask turnaround. What is it? Blind cloak. Okay. So this was the character design, texture and all actually, and so the cloak, for the most part, wasn't too bad. I will say these little kind of border parts, they were annoying, but the big thing that was a real hassle was the mask, the lines on the mask. Because every single one of these lines, I had to be consistent about how many there were and the shape of them rotating in space. And yeah, that was a headache, keeping that all straight and everything like that. So I was pretty happy with the result. It was worth the effort. Oh, and the other thing that made this a lot more complicated was so I had color holds, so all of the line work was colored. So I had to sit there, except for I guess some stuff on the pants and stuff like that, but I had to sit there and make sure that every single line was colored the correct color. So that was a lot of work. That's part of the reason why it took me a month and a half to do all those scenes, or 2 months to clean it up rather. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think I forwent putting the lines on the mask during rough animation. I think I did it during cleanup, which in hindsight probably wasn't the best idea, but it is what it is. So that was a lot of fun though. It was despite the annoyance of the character, it was actually a very fun project. Honestly, I would love to do something like it again sooner than later, but it might be a little while before I get an opportunity, unfortunately. If you want to watch that film, by the way, it's on my YouTube. So. You know, let me. Yeah, we're gonna. Oh, that's funny. I don't actually use the light. There's some additional details in there. Yeah. Well, you want to be careful with animation because animation is one of those things where you really want to make sure that you kind of have all your ducks in a row and you know what you're going to be doing exactly, because otherwise it can really come back to bite you. You don't want to let the scope creep kind of get to you, as it were. And so deciding, oh hey, if I just add this one more detail, you know, that can be kind of a slippery slope in that regard. Too many times I ran out of time and shorted myself on way more important elements of the project because I was too detailed at the start with the characters. Yeah, which that comes down to experience as well. That's a big part of it. You know, the lesson that I always teach my students when I'm teaching animation is the difference between a good animator and a mediocre animator is a good animator catches their mistakes before they become problems. And that's kind of art in general as well, but it's especially true for animation, I find. Okay. Yeah, that should do it. Yeah. Kind of like that wall art, honestly. Oh, don't worry, there's story time. I never know what I'm saying. Do you do a lot of character design? Actually, both of you. They're Chris and story time. It's kind of funny. I'm like the laziest character designer ever, but the reason is because you know, I see a lot of characters, the way they're designed is very, let's say, what would the word be? Flamboyant, I guess. What's up, Tally? Good to see you. Created your character for fun. Not a huge amount, to be honest. Character design is a very weak point of mine. I kind of feel a little bit the same, honestly. But like I was saying, I feel like a lot of characters are designed in a very, you know, flamboyant, like, let's add all the things to them kind of way. And when I'm designing a character, I can't help but think it's like, okay, this character like travels around a lot or does this, that, or the other thing. Having all of this junk on them would make it kind of annoying, like, to do that, right? So I usually, like, I think about my character, it's like, well, what would a character like Graham wear? It's like, well, he likes having this sweater because it's comfy, and he just has, you know, usually just pants and shoes, and that's it, you know? Yeah, don't share information there, story time. Not a good idea. You don't need a reason to be an artist. Sometimes it's just for the fun of it. Let's see. Did I? Oh, I didn't. I didn't do the little bags under his eyes. You know, it's kind of funny though, because like then there's stuff like that I add, these very like minute details, but I do that for a reason, because the reason he has bags under his eyes is because he's nocturnal. It's actually why he's up drinking juice out of the fridge at like 3 in the morning. Where's the paint? There it is. But that's kind of a trouble for him, because you know his friends are all awake during the day, so he ends up not getting a whole lot of sleep. He has them big old bags under his eyes. So it's stuff like that that I like to add to character design. Not necessarily just like bits and bobs and designs and stuff like that. I'd rather it be something that really like is a characteristic, I guess. Okay, that's that and that. Let's go ahead and there we go. Go back here and let's go ahead and work on the plates. And the plates should be pretty easy. We're just gonna here, and we're gonna well, let's give it a little bit more color. Actually, that should do it. Let's bring that red in there. Actually, that looks kind of nice. And get a little darker, a little bit more color in there. Long edge there. Yo, Guilty, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I'm afraid I haven't started Hajime no Ippo yet. I really need to sit down and start that series. Maybe we'll try to watch an episode tonight. Play VR all the time, bags in your eyes. Ooh, be careful, you know. I remember when I borrowed a headset from a friend of mine. I was messing around with it quite a bit, and yeah, it puts a bit of a strain on your eyes, that's for sure. Still, it'd be really fun to get a headset at some point, but that's for the future. Now, as fun as VR is, hopefully you get better and start going back to school. I will. I've been recommended it twice now, so I feel like I've gotta. Once by another friend of mine, and once by you, so. I do wish I could have caught it on the streaming side, but that's alright. Maybe I can catch up. How does that look? Yeah, that blends in nice. Okay. All right, let's actually hold on. Let's start with just the kind of cream color. Gorilla Tag, I've not heard of that one. I had a friend who oh my word, he's kind of dangerous to let play VR. He was I was hanging out with we were both hanging out at another friend's house. This other friend had a VR headset, so he was letting us try it out. And so my friend was playing Gorn, the like barbarian kind of simulator or whatever. And oh my word, he turned into a monster, just absolutely swinging his arms everywhere. It was kind of like astonishing watching it in real time, because like he would get like within inches of just smashing the TV that was in the room and just like knocking everything over. Never hit anything, amazingly. I'm just watching him like flail around like crazy. I mean, he was in the zone. I'm just like, oh boy. How's this gonna go? Thankfully, it didn't end up absolutely destroying anything, but well, it was kind of impressive. That's for sure. Let's go with that. We also do need to kind of touch those up. Let's do that first. Scrape your hands on our piece of broken glass. Ow. VR sounds pretty wild. It can be, man. Depends on who wears the headset, that's for sure. I'm a bit more chill when I do it. I don't feel like punching my wall accidentally. It is pretty fun, though, I will say. If you haven't had the chance to do VR, it's a different experience. It's very cool. I remember I actually got the chance at a it was an expo. I got a chance to do a little demo of Minecraft in VR on the original. I think it was the original. Either it was like it was one of the really early model Oculus headsets before they got bought up by Facebook. So that was really cool. And it was pretty surreal getting the sensation of vertigo in a video game like that. That was really something else. A bit of glare on my screen that's making it a little hard to see what I'm doing. Yeah, that's the big thing with VR is some people really have a hard time with it. Makes them real sick. Thankfully, I don't really get that way. I will say I do get, like, if I'm in it for a long time, it's like a kind of slow progression of slowly feeling a bit more queasy over time. But I can go for quite a while before it really starts to affect me. The big game I really would love to play in VR is the new Riven that came out. Because visually, I absolutely love the way that the Myst games look. And Riven in particular has a phenomenal art style and art direction and stuff like that. So it'd be super cool to be able to walk around that world in VR and see just all the detail and the architecture and stuff like that. So that'd be a pretty big motivator for me to pick up a headset. But like I said, that's for the future anyway. So okay. Let's see, what time is it? We got a little bit more time. Although, do I want to... Let me call it a little early tonight. Let me just make sure. We're on candles. Back to the wall. Yeah, put that too much. Okay. But we've made really good progress, actually. I'm really happy to have the wall pretty much done, except for maybe a little bit more kind of. Let's make sure that we're selected. You do that and you're gonna get in trouble, that's for sure. Another old game getting a remake on? Yeah, pretty much. The only kind of downside to it, from what I've seen, from what I've heard and seen of it, it sounds like it was a really good remake. I think it was Cyan that did it as well, and Cyan's the original studio, of course. Which makes me really happy that Cyan is still around. They've done things like Abduction and a few other games in recent years. So it makes me really happy that they're still around, honestly. But the one part of it that is a little disappointing, and it's totally understandable why they did it, especially for the sake of VR, but the original game had cutscenes, or rather characters who were live action integrated into the game, and it gave a really cool effect. It's such a unique look to that era of gaming. It's, kind of full motion video, right? But it's full motion video done right. It's really cool because they did a very good job of actually integrating the person into the scene. They took into account the lighting, they took into account the camera movement. So it's actually fairly seamless, but it still gives this really cool, surreal effect that you don't really get nowadays. It's kind of not really a thing anymore. And of course, when they originally filmed it, it probably wasn't at the highest quality. It certainly wasn't 4K, that's for sure. And so even if they had the original footage, which, who knows if they do or not, but even if they did, they probably couldn't have realistically reused it. Maybe they could have done something with, upscaling or whatever to make it look good. But even then, it probably would have been a real headache to integrate it at that level of detail. So that's a kind of an unfortunate thing, I would say, that is lost with the 4K remake. Actually, what's interesting is, if I'm not mistaken, it actually started as a fan effort to recreate Riven in that fashion. And Cyan was so impressed that I think they actually brought that team on board and basically kind of contracted them for their work and such. I could be wrong about that, but that I feel like I remember seeing something about that, which is really cool if that's the case. It's always really nice to see a studio admire the work of creative people, kind of going out of way to honor the work and such. Okay, let me just do the floor a little bit more now that I'm... Wish other studios do stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, I can kind of understand it in certain regards. In regards to, like, I guess separating it, because it's hard to say, like, what that might encourage. You know, people like constantly pitching projects and stuff like that. It's like, guys, like, no, like, we're not going to do every fan project ever, right? But even then, like, a lot of studios do not appreciate the creativeness of their fan base. Game Workshop. Honestly, that's even worse though, because like Games Workshop is even worse because it's fan art. They're copyright striking fan art, for goodness sakes. It's ridiculous. And a lot of times, like, they're not even, the people creating it aren't even using like assets or something like that. They're making their own assets. The only thing that they're taking is the, you know, art, like the concept, the designs and such. And it's like, yeah, of course, they're fans. Especially something like Warhammer, which is, you know, a tabletop game. It's all about creativity. You know, you paint minifigures, for goodness sakes. Ooh. This is a cool song. Let's see who this is. Triac, Eat Your Bricks. I might have to write this one down. Actually, I'm going to do that real quick. Triac. Pokemon, for instance. Honestly, Pokemon at this point would would benefit from any kind of passion. At least as far as the game, I should say, at least as far as the games go. Because, oh my word, they have been dropping the ball, it sounds like. So strange, because that is like the franchise to put money into, right? Like the franchise to like do right, you know it's gonna make money. But maybe that's the problem, is like, yeah, people will buy the next game. We know they will. So it becomes a matter of logistics more than, you know, art or passion. And I think that's probably the real catch to all of it is, you know, at the end of the day, a lot of these business types are looking at, you know, logistics and all that. And so they're quite literally not on the same page. Already using fan art of you? Or making fan art of you? Nice. You see so much yeah, for sure. No, definitely. That's even worse than like a game that comes out and it's just like the most generic slop. It's like, okay, whatever, right? Who cares? You know, oh, another bad game. Okay, who cares? Or even mediocre. But when it's like, okay, this had something. I remember the biggest one I saw in recent memory that really made me think about that is it was actually kind of a one of those like liminal space games kind of thing, even though I hate that term. But still, like, kind of, you know, pool rooms and all that kind of stuff. It was Aminoopolis, I think it's called. And the original concept, like, there was a demo that came out, and I watched a guy play it, and it was very well executed in terms of its, like, its goals and, like, what it was doing and stuff like that, its setups and stuff like that. Like, it was very cool to see him exploring the world and, like, kind of, like, actually spooky. It did a really good job of, like, creating a very unsettling atmosphere with some of the stuff that they were pulling. And then I think the game, like, came out and they just decided to procedurally generate everything, and it completely lost any element of design to it. Honestly, it was really weird to see. It was like it was just completely reworked. And I didn't know what to really make of it. It was just so bizarre. It's like, why did you abandon that vision? You had, like, something really cool going on. And then it just, like, completely changed. There was, like, all these, like, weird mini games and stuff like that. It was just so bizarre how much it changed. How much money can we make doing as little as possible? Yeah, just that weird undercut kind of mentality. And hey, unfortunately, that'll get you so far, but at the same time, it'll only get you so far. Eventually, you know, people are gonna want something good, you know, something interesting, new, fresh. That's why this whole AI thing is really, like, the antithesis to that, in my opinion, because it's like, it's engaging at first because it's, you know, this immediate satisfaction, right? But, like, imagine doing that for years. Imagine sitting there generating, just generating art for years. That sounds miserable, in my opinion. You never are actually creating. You're just watching the computer do it for you the whole time. It's like, good. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, no thanks. What's the weird game called? Amino. It's a weird name. Let me see if I can, like, find it. Aminoopolis. Yeah. Yeah. So here it is. So this is what it's called. Should come up. There we go. Did it come up in this chat? I guess not. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Excuse me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they updated it and kind of went back to the original vision. It's been a while since I've seen it. It looks like a lot of people are giving it like high reviews and stuff like that, but I don't know. It just, the last time I saw it, I'm pretty sure it had to be the game. It just really seemed to have lost itself, I guess, which was a shame. So if I wanted to name a character, could I name a character for you? Well, there's a lot of work that goes into names. Truth be told, you're actually asking the wrong person. I have literally got characters that don't have names. Like, a lot of my characters I just don't name. Because I don't know, I kind of like that in some ways. But it really depends on what kind of character they are. Okay, let's see. What time is it? 7:57. It's getting close. Yeah, we've been going for a couple hours here, so I think it's about time that we start wrapping up. We're getting closer to finishing this piece, which makes me happy. I'm really, really happy with how this is coming along. It's got that kind of, you know, animation title card kind of look that I was going for, which makes me happy. Let's go ahead and just do this a bit better. Okay, there we go. That'll be good enough. All right. But yeah, no, I really like how this is coming out. I like how he's kind of sat on the ground. The wall, I think the back wall actually came out quite nice. The counter and stuff. The counter could be a little bit better, I suppose. Maybe I'll work on this side a little bit more, because this should probably be a little bit darker, honestly. But I'll save that for next time. Speaking of next time, I will be back on Thursday. I'm going to, unless something happens. But count on me getting back onto the usual schedule. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. When I can, I'll try to stream a little bit earlier, because I know it's easier for people to join in when I stream earlier. But I'll be busy with work and such, so it'll really depend. That being said, I am planning on working on the comic next stream. I might work on this a little bit as well, but my goal is going to be to work on the comic a bit more. Which I'm excited about. I'm really excited to get back to it. It might be a little slow going at first, because I need to get back into the mode for drawing those characters and such, but yeah. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for stopping by and hanging out. It's really awesome. We had a lot of people stop by and say hi, which I really do appreciate. So yeah, hope to see you on Thursday, and hope to get to have another awesome stream with you guys. So take care, catch you later, have a good one, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.